All right, let's suck off the trolls. Too lazy to go down and get my megaphone. I should have thought that through because I knew damn well unless I kept it up here, I wasn't going to go down and get it every time. But it's fun to go get every now and then. But I don't need it. Let's just count down. Two, one. Okay, thanks very much. Appreciate it, trolls and haters out there. That stuff always feels good, feels nice. You're not doing anything with it, so I'll make something beautiful out of it. I'll do it for you. I'm here to help you, which you just don't understand. I love it. And this is a response video because there's a dipshit out there that gave me a shout out and then said I use fear porn. All right, if you go back through my videos, 90% of what I have said has come to pass, and the other 10% just hasn't happened yet. But the governments and all the authoritative agencies are clearly and openly preparing for these things that I have said are going to happen. All right, so the majority of it has happened, and a lot of it's happened exactly when I said it has and would, and the rest that hasn't happened yet, the government, the authorities that they're siding with and listening to are openly preparing for. Okay, I tell you, it's a spiritual world. If that scares you, well, then it's because you have no spirit. And like I said, if you say something, you shouldn't be worrying about what I'm doing and what I'm saying anyway. You should be worrying about who you are. And the reason why you don't know who you are is because you're too busy worrying about what I am doing. All right. And when you're saying things like fear, this and that, that's like saying music is good or bad, a song. There's no way to tell that. It's because you're scared shitless, man. It's amazing. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to use some fear porn. I'm going to use fear porn. Right, plain and simple. This is what we're going to do. And I'm going to ruin this for you if you haven't seen it for yourself. If you haven't, I'm going to spoil it for you. But if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it, even when I spoil this for you, because you have to see it to believe it. And it's so funny because I talked about this at Christmas. And nobody's seen this movie except for one guy in my family. We grew up together. His sister ended up marrying my cousin. So we knew each other for like 10 years, and we're great friends before he actually became in the family. So anyway, because we were huge movie nerds, documentaries, foreign horror movies was like our thing. But period, he just watched a lot of movies, and I love that. We were nerds. Still am. Still are. But anyway, so he's the only guy who's seen this movie. He's pretty asleep as far as he knows the government's screwed and all this kind of shit, but doesn't know the extent of how bad it is. But he said this movie pissed him off. And let me tell you why. So let's talk about, I'm going to use fear porn. Because this is fear porn. This is what really happened, though. If you haven't seen this movie, this is a documentary about these three boys that you're looking at right here. Now, I can't remember which one is which because, as you can see, there are three identical twins. Their names are Robert, Edward, and David. Is that correct? Yes. Again, if you haven't watched this movie, you need to. It's the craziest, and I don't tell people you need to do this or that. But you should, because you need to. This will tell you what you're dealing with. This will tell you why people say things like what they do to me and why they call me fear porn and I use fear porn, because they're working for this terrible beast, okay, that's right here in front of everyone, and this movie proves it. It's why it pissed my friend off in the family. It's why it pissed him off. Because it's what they do drives people to suicide. Okay, so let's talk about it. So you got Robert, Edward, and David. Now, these are three identical twins, and they did not realize they were twins, that they were brothers. Here's what happened. I don't remember which one it was. I don't remember which college it was. One of these guys was going, college was starting, beginning of the semester, beginning of the year, and I can't believe that I didn't know about this. This story happened in the 80s, all right? I grew up in the 80s. These guys were bigger than Michael Jackson whenever this happened. They have clips from Donahue, these guys were all over mainstream media, all on the late night talk shows. Sally Jesse, Phil Donahue. These guys were like pop culture icons for a while. And I never even heard of these guys. So when I'm watching this stuff, I cannot believe I never heard this story. So one of them is going to college, and he's walking to his dorm room, and all these people are running up to him. Hey, hey, David. So good to see you. So awesome, man. I'm so glad to see you. He has no idea who these people are. He walks into his dorm room, and there is his roommate. And his roommate turns around and says, "Oh, David, man. Oh, good to see you, man. I can't believe we're roommates again." This guy's like, "What do you mean? My name's not David." And so the guy's like, "Oh, that's hilarious. That's funny, David. You're hilarious. So what you been up to this summer?" Again, man, I tell you what, I'm not David. "Oh, man, you're so okay. Come on, give it. What'd you do this summer?" "I'm not David." "Well, then what do you mean you're not David?" "I'm not David. I'm Robert." So the guy, this roommate of this friend of the other guy, you'll see what I mean, drops everything they're doing. They go to the phone booth, and this roommate calls this guy Robert, and he says, Robert, you're not going to believe this. You have a twin brother, man. I'm standing here looking at you. This is you. This is your twin brother. You got a twin brother. So again, they drop everything they're doing, and this roommate drives him to this guy David's house, because this roommate was David's, the identical twin brother that the other guy didn't know he had. They were roommates at the college. So these two identical twin brothers, they meet, and it's crazy. It's, as you can imagine, just listening to the roommate, the friend of these guys, explain what it was like watching them see each other for their first time. He said it was just the most insane thing you've ever seen. Okay, so of course, this makes the news. And it's a huge story. Mainstream media's picking it up. It's a crazy. I'm just watching how much time I have. So the mainstream media picks it up. It's a huge story, huge human interest story, right? And they become kind of little low-level celebrities. Well, in the process of this blowing up and making newspapers and headlines, another one, the third identical twin brother, sees this, and it's like, holy shit, everyone in the family says, that's you, those are your brothers, and lo and behold, it turns out that no shit, all three of these guys were separated at birth, and they are all three identical twins. And so then it got even bigger. That's when you'll see them on Donahue when you watch this, if you watch this, or if you just look it up. What's their names? I just read them to you. Just right here, just these three names. Just Google them or put them in YouTube. You'll see them on Donahue and all this shit. The story was huge. I can't believe I never heard of this. So they meet up, whatever. I can't remember. It's like whatever, like I said, 20s, late teens, early 20s, right? Because one was in college or whatever the case may be. And so they're big. They turn into basically big celebrities. And then one of them ends up killing himself, because it turns out that there was a big secret behind, as you can read right here. In 1980 New York, three young men who are all adopted meet each other and find out they're triplets who were separated at birth, but their quest to find out why turns into a bizarre and sinister mystery. So what happened is that this orphanage, which was funded by the city, which was funded by the government, they talk about this in there a little bit too. The orphanage intentionally split these three brothers up to see what would happen to them, to see what the consequence of separating them did to them. And when you learn, this is the most fucked up thing you'll ever hear and see. And when you listen to these guys talk about when they were growing up as babies, they knew it. They knew they were separated because they used to all do shit. Every one of them, just like me, man, I know this to be true. Every one of us is separated, but they knew. And this orphanage, which was funded by the Beast, which is this is fear porn. This is scary as shit. But this is what happens, and these are the people that are coming to me. I'm speaking out against this. They're sticking up for this kind of agencies that separate twins. That led one of these guys killed themselves because of it. You're calling me fear porn? You're sick. They split these kids up just to see what would happen to them. I've told you, you got those assholes on here because, blame the Jews, and everyone's involved. Every gender, every race is involved. Everybody, every group, every cult, it's all involved. It's not just one or the other. They're all involved. Saying that Hitler was a good guy because he was trying to kill all the Jews. Hitler worked hand in hand with Islam, with the Muslims. He had a big imam every night in Berlin calling for jihad. He worked hand in hand with Islam. He had the black cube of death on his sleeve. He had it on his face. And he worked with that monster, what is it, Mengele or whatever, where they all they did is they did tests and experiments on twins, injected shit into their eyeballs, supposedly, all sorts of gross stuff, because they are fascinated, in my opinion, because no one still knows for sure why they did this shit and why they even did this. There's still no real explanation for it. To me, it's because they are fascinated with the mutation of the twins. They are fascinated with it. Because this whole place is radioactive, which means it mutates, which it does. That's the story. And here's the thing. I can't remember which school it is. It's like Yale or Harvard or something like that. All the documents. And here's these kids. This is what they said. These guys, the two that are alive, they said that these people came over to their houses every week or every month or whatever and just studied them, and their parents let it happen. He said one of them guys was like, I was like 9 or 10 years old, and remember going to my mom and being like, do I really have to do this? Because they had these strangers that went into their house every month, every week, and documented and tested these boys and wanted to see what was happening to them. And all this research, this entire experiment is locked up in Yale or Harvard or one of those big Ivy League schools and is not to be released until like 2040 something or 2030 something or 2060 something. Like years and years and years and years and years and years down the road. That is who is running shit. That is your beast system. A system that makes kids willingly autistic, is turning males into females, drugging the waters, drugging the air, drugging the food, intentionally splitting children up. See, I mean, you're just so upside down. You don't even know. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I don't know this guy. I wanted to send him a clip like a couple days ago, and we don't know shit. I mean, for this guy to be like, well, he uses fear porn. I mean, that's why people just don't even understand. I'm like, there's never anyone that says anything nice about me, really, except for, Sophie. She was the only one. She made that video. I put that shit on my other guy. I couldn't even put that out because people hate her, which is crazy. It's never like, hey, man, appreciate what you're doing, and hey, thanks a lot, and hey, you're this, that, and whatever. No, it's all these people making videos. You're stupid. You're an egomaniac. You use fear porn. You don't understand. Well, they're not doing anything. They're splitting kids up and driving people. I haven't driven anyone to suicide. I haven't driven anyone to killing themselves. And you're calling me this or that. Dude, that's what the fuck? Talking about me cussing. You ever read the Bible? I will not come and use lofty speech. I will show you demonstrations of the Spirit, i.e., show you making beautiful music, making predictions and showing you prophecies and shit like that are coming true long before they're happening, and saying shit 6-7 years ago and then showing you with headlines today. That's what the Bible says. I will not come with using lofty speech, but demonstrations of the Spirit, showing you how kind I am, how generous I am. But that's because you guys hate. That's not because you're real. You're not. So you're not. That's because you're not on the same. You're not working with the same force that I am. That's why you do what you do, because you work for the dark pedophile nature that is the greedy, selfish side that we all have. But you would know this, but you're too busy saying stuff about me and worrying about what I'm doing and coming on to every video that I do. You would never stand up to this beast. You would never say shit. You'd say it to me, but you'd never say it to me in person. You're all cowards. No one has ever talked to me like I get talked to on the internet, not in person. Never. It's because you're a coward. You're a small baby-dicked coward. Okay, good talk. Please watch this movie. It's sick. And I'm just going to keep doing what I'm going to keep doing, and you're going to keep doing, and what you're going to keep doing. This is the way it works. How's it working out for you? Look at the world around you. Look what you stick up for still. Still using the word conspiracy. Still saying this. Still saying that. Whew.